everybody, James with Love My Pups, My Breeder Supply. So we're going to talk today about pet transport, and I've got a particular person up here I'm going to talk about. So you found the perfect pet, but that's on the other side of the United States, or maybe you have a puppy that somebody wants and they are hundreds of miles away from you. How do you get that pet, that puppy to them? Well, you can use, depending on the size of the puppy, you can use, or the dog, you can use the airlines. They've got cargo transport. And we haven't used that in, probably 15 years. But I have used it in the past. I've had some problems, especially if I've imported dogs from outside the United States. I had one really bad experience with a dog that overheated. That method is relatively inexpensive, but it is fraught with various problems. And so to these days, the only way that we would ever send a puppy to somebody would be in the airplane with the other human beings in the cabin, not in cargo. So how do people get dogs from us? Well, there are two ways. One is they fly into Oklahoma City. We meet them at the airport. We give them the puppy right there in the airport lounge, and off they go on their trip. That's great, wonderful. If you can do that, then that's a great way of doing things. But that's not always available, and it's expensive because the cost of an airline ticket these days has got a lot higher since kind of COVID's gone away somewhat. Airline tickets have got a lot more expensive now. So what we have been, the person that I've been using is Nanny. I call her Nanny, Kelly. It's Kelly. We've known Kelly for 6 years. She has transported lots and lots of dogs for us. She's a wonderful person. She loves animals, and I have had absolutely zero problems ever with any issues to do with transporting puppies with her. So that's why I'm giving her a shout out here. Now, when I do these things, when I talk about other people or other products, there's no commissions involved, there's no kickback involved. I do this purely because whenever I talk about any of these things, they're always about things that we use, we like, that we've been successful with, and we think that they would be good for you. That's why we've got Kelly up here. She's not the only person out there that does it, but she's pretty much the only person that we use for this. So here's the important things about her service. First off, that she's bonded and she's insured and she's USDA licensed, which means that there's not going to be any surprises. You're not going to go to the airport and find out all of a sudden that your puppy cannot go on the plane because there's a problem with the process. So she is credited, bonded, insured to do all this stuff. And most of these services, they go standby. That's the way they can get this done. Most of these people work for the airlines and they go standby. And because of that, they don't pay for a ticket. They just pay for the tax on a ticket. That's not the case with Kelly. Kelly goes and gets a ticket, and so you know the dog's getting on that plane, and you know that it's going to arrive at that particular time. Well, I mean, there can be delays in planes, of course, but I mean, that happens infrequently. When you go standby, it's really a hit and miss thing. You know, I've had situations in the past where puppies have gone standby, and it may have taken an extra 24 hours to get the puppy there because they couldn't get a standby ticket. So, hats off to Kelly, great girl. She loves dogs. She will absolutely get the job done for you. She has now, as of I think beginning of April, she can take credit cards. You can take debit cards and credit cards. You can book a flight with her and it will happen the day that's going to happen. There are some limits on weights restrictions. I think 25 pounds or less is the regulations for this because they've got to go in the cabin. And if they're over that, they can't go in the cabin. This applies to both cats and dogs. Puppies and dogs, he does both. You should have and I don't think she necessarily requires this, but I think it makes complete sense that you should have a vet's, what's the right word for it? So a medical checkup, you know, within a week of the flight to make sure that the puppy's healthy and there's no problems. You definitely don't want to be delivering a puppy to somebody and then find that there's a problem. So you absolutely, I think it's wise to spend that 50, 75 bucks. Maybe it's $100 depending where you live to go get a medical checkup done. If the dog is over a certain age, it's going to need a rabies certificate too. If it's a puppy, of course, they don't get that until I think 6 months. What else can I tell you? Really simple process. So she'll go to any major airport and deliver to any major airport elsewhere. Prices vary depending on where the dog's being picked up from or where the dog's going, because ticket prices change. She's not the only game in town, and she's not the cheapest game in town, but I guarantee that she's one of the best in town, the best that I've ever used. Super reliable, super nice person, and that's why I'm giving her this shout out. So yeah, that's about it. Perfect Pup Transport, and there's her phone number. And as I say, important things: bonded, licensed, insured, and USDA certified, and A1 top tier person. Thanks for watching. Bye everybody. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.